"Get off my property before I call the cops." That's what she screamed. On land I'd just bought, legally, deed in hand, title insured and recorded. I thought restoring a 120-year-old farmhouse outside the HOA would be my peaceful escape. I was wrong. I'd just stepped into a neighborhood war. After 15 years working as a civil engineer, I wanted quiet. No traffic, no deadlines, no HOA letters about mailbox colors. Just land, space, and history. That's when I found it, a forgotten 120-year-old farmhouse listed in a county tax auction. The photos looked rough, peeling paint, broken shutters, a sagging porch. But beneath the decay, I saw beauty. The farmhouse sat on 4 acres, just outside the nearest HOA's reach. Freedom. I won the bid fair and square, $127,000, and got a deed, title insurance, everything airtight. It felt like I'd rescued a piece of history. The first morning I arrived, dew glistened on the tall grass, sunlight hit the roof, and I could almost hear the echoes of the family who built it a century ago. I imagined restoring it board by board, turning it back into something beautiful. But as it turns out, some people don't like when outsiders breathe new life into their forgotten past. That's when Brenda showed up. The day the survey crew arrived, everything changed. We were staking out property lines when a white Lexus SUV came tearing down my gravel driveway. It stopped so hard dust shot into the air. Out stepped a woman in her 40s, perfect hair, designer sunglasses, and an attitude that could cut glass. "Stop what you're doing," she yelled, phone in hand, already recording. "You're trespassing on my family's land." I blinked, thinking she was joking. "Ma'am, I just bought this property. The deed's recorded with the county." She scoffed. "Paperwork means nothing. My family has cared for this land for 30 years. It's part of our community garden." Behind her, her husband stepped out, a silent mountain of a man gripping a crowbar. Then came a sheriff's cruiser. For a moment, I relaxed, until the deputy greeted Brenda like an old friend. He told me to stop until things got sorted out. Sorted out? I owned it. But his smirk said he didn't care about deeds or maps. He cared about golf buddies. I watched Brenda's grin widen as my surveyors packed up their gear. That's when I realized I wasn't restoring a farmhouse. I was entering a battle. That night, I sent everything, deed, maps, photos, to my real estate lawyer, Rebecca Hayes. Her response came fast. "You're clean." She's bluffing. I wanted to believe that. But the next morning, a letter arrived from something called the Heritage Preservation Coalition. Brenda's name sat proudly at the bottom. It was a cease and desist, full of legal jargon and veiled threats. She claimed adverse possession and community heritage rights. I almost laughed until I saw she'd copied the sheriff's office and local paper. Then came the social media posts. "Out-of-town developer destroys beloved farmstead." The comments were brutal. People called me greedy, heartless, a thief. My friends told me to clap back online. But Rebecca said, "Don't feed it. Build evidence. Stay calm." So I kept working quietly. I fixed a broken fence, mowed the overgrown grass. But every time I stepped outside, I felt eyes on me. Cars slowed. Cameras flashed. Brenda wasn't trying to win legally. She was trying to make me quit. I wasn't going anywhere. By week 3, Brenda had the entire community turned against me. Her Facebook post had 2,000 shares. She called me the outsider destroying local heritage. She even hosted a Save the Farmstead fundraiser at the library. Photos of her in front of my house, smiling like she owned it. I wanted to scream. But Rebecca's advice echoed. Calm wins. Rage loses. So instead, I documented everything, screenshots, posts, threats. Every lie she told became another piece of evidence. But I needed more than paperwork. I needed something that would end this. Then I remembered something the hardware store owner had said. The Suttons treat that property like it's theirs. Be careful. So I started looking closer, old photos, delivery records, property maps. If Brenda claimed her family maintained my land, there had to be proof. And if there wasn't, well, that proof would expose her. I started with the community garden she kept bragging about. It was nothing but 8 rotted wooden boxes full of weeds and rocks. The soil was compact, untouched. No tools, no watering system, no signs of care. Next, I went through county utility records, no active water or power for years. Then came my breakthrough, a receipt from 2017. Name, B. Sutton. Purchase, lumber and soil. Delivery address, my farmhouse. Mrs. Mercer, the last legal owner, was still alive then. Brenda hadn't been protecting heritage. She'd been trespassing. But the real shock came when I rechecked my boundary stakes. Some had been moved, just a few meters, enough to make her yard look bigger. The soil around them was freshly disturbed. Someone had dug them up. That's when I bought 6 hidden cameras with night vision and cloud backup. I mounted them quietly, one by the fence line, one near the barn, one by the road. If Brenda or her husband came back, I'd catch them red-handed. For the next week, nothing happened, but I could feel it, the calm before something big. Then one night, at 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed with an alert. And when I opened the feed, my jaw dropped. There she was, Brenda, on my property, flashlight in hand. Her husband carried the same crowbar from before. The camera caught everything in HD. Craig jammed the crowbar under one of my survey stakes and pried it out of the ground. "These stakes are wrong," he muttered. Brenda's voice followed. "Don't worry. No one will believe him once we fix it." They moved from stake to stake, laughing, tossing the markers into the brush. 9 minutes, 40 seconds. Every second recorded. My hands shook, not from fear, but from relief. By sunrise, I had 3 copies of that footage, one for my lawyer, one for the sheriff's office, one locked in a safety box. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't nervous. I was ready. Brenda had just turned her lies into a criminal act. 2 weeks later, the county held a public hearing. The room was packed, neighbors, reporters, and Brenda in full victim mode. She went first, projecting photos of the old farmhouse, crying about community heritage. The crowd nodded. Then it was my turn. I didn't say much, just facts. I showed the deed, title insurance, utility records. I explained that she never paid a cent in taxes on my land. Then I played the video. The room went silent. There they were, Brenda and Craig, ripping out survey markers, laughing, caught on camera. A board member asked, "Did you have permission to move those?" Brenda stammered, We were just correcting them." Correction or confession. It didn't matter. Everyone knew. By the end of the hearing, her supporters were gone. The county forwarded the footage to the district attorney. For the first time, Brenda didn't have anything to say. 3 weeks later, the judge's ruling came down like a hammer. I was declared the sole owner of the property. Brenda and Craig were banned from coming within 100 yards of my land. The DA charged them with vandalism and interference with survey markers, both crimes. Brenda took a plea deal, probation, fines, and a public apology published in the local paper. The sheriff's deputy, who backed her, got reassigned. I framed the court order and hung it in my farmhouse office, not out of spite, but as a reminder. Peace doesn't come easy. You have to fight for it sometimes. Looking back, it wasn't just about land. It was about standing up to people who think entitlement is ownership. Brenda believed shouting louder made her right. But truth doesn't shout, it endures. The farmhouse stands stronger now, restored and peaceful. The garden blooms again, but this time with real community, people who ask before they help. If you ever face someone trying to steal what's yours, remember, patience is your weapon, proof is your armor, and persistence is your victory. She tried to claim my farmhouse. In the end, she lost everything but her pride. Have you ever dealt with a neighbor like this? Tell me in the comments. I read every story.